doing, Nolan?
Good evening. How y'all doing?
How you doing?
Good.
Nolan,
Will this defense be as good as it was a year ago?
I feel like Coach Smart develops us in a way that you play for each other, and once you realize that, that's when the great defenses happen. When guys play for each other, when guys put the egos aside, and just come out and just play football.
Coach Smart said that there's no complacency with this team. Do you see that too?
Yeah, I 100% believe in there's no complacency as far as what we did last year is last year, and we have to be where our feet are in today and in the present.
Y'all are studying kind of like how Giants fall in order to avoid that. What sort of effect did that have on the team?
A lot of guys, you saw their work ethic just go to the next level. When guys feel like you arrived and feel like you've done something and feel like you accomplished something, that's when nothing gets accomplished.
with the complacency Coach Smart talked about, he gave you guys examples of teams, examples from history. Do you remember specific instances, examples he gave you guys to learn from?
I don't want to call out any other teams, any other body else, so I think I'd like to skip that question.
Nolan, how long did it feel like before the page turned from last year to this year?
The 24 hours. I was telling someone the classes started on the 9th, and we played on the 10th, and the next day we were back in Athens trying to get our class schedules right, trying to get everything right. Well, actually, our class schedules were already right before we even left, so we could come back and just go to class, so you know what you had to have. So it was about 24 hours before we turned the page.
What about you personally and your decision to come back? I was curious because you were the number one player coming out of high school, and you've got some players like Jadavion and some that were 3-year guys. Did you ever feel the pressure to be a 3-year guy, and what made you want to come back for a 4th year?
No, I don't feel the pressure to be like those other guys. I just want to be Nolan Smith, and I just try to be myself every day, and that's what I try to do. I came back ultimately for my mom. My mom wants me to get something that's more valuable and able to do something after football. Like, what about life after football? Like, I just don't want to be a football player forever, honestly.
No, everybody talks about culture. Obviously, you guys cashed it in with the national championship. But can you be specific as to why the culture was so good and helped you guys win in Georgia?
I'll say the culture as far as connection and knowing the person next to me and knowing why he's playing football, why he's even here, or how did he get here, what was his journey. And I feel like when you get to know someone else, like if you know the person you work with, you'll work harder for them and work harder for their reasons. Or if he's having a down day, I can push him. I can tell him his why. I can be like, your mom never quit on you, or such and such like that. And I just think guys, we get a lot more out of it that way.
So was it different last year than previous years in terms of how strong that culture was?
I feel like the only difference that we had last year is we just added a word called connection, and Coach Smart made us do skull sessions. Like, that was cut out of our football time for us to sit down and talk and understand why is he doing this and why is he playing football.
Nolan, Coach Smart said that Stetson Bennett was one of the least respected good players in the country. Why do you think that is?
Because no one wants to walk on quarterback, because the media, all they do is hype up the 5-star big arm talent quarterback, or his great descendants were good quarterbacks and all of that stuff. You can't teach people how to win, and you can't teach what Stetson has. I personally think he has grit. So
Nolan, what has Coach Muschamp meant to this defense, and what has he brought in his new role as well?
I think Coach Muschamp means a lot. He brings a lot of diversity, also a lot of age and a lot of wisdom, because I used to watch him honestly on TV when I was 7 and 8 years old when he was coaching at LSU at 2009, and I let him know that every day. And he also let me know that he used to play for Georgia football once upon a time. So I think that they invested into the program. Like, they went here and they care more about the program, and they don't want to see us, fail.
What's he told you about his glory days at Georgia and his college days?
Yeah, he's a 4-year starter at Georgia, and if you talk to him, he started more years than Coach Smart, and he's the older brother. So I know it's funny, just talking to them, seeing them go at it, and I think they're like old best friends.
What do you remember about watching Will while he was at LSU?
Man, he was yelling. He was just yelling and just ripping people on the sideline. And someone asked me, is he a lot more docile and quiet now? And I say he's a little more quiet, I guess, because the age. But when he yells, it's him.
If
No,
you,
I'll
could
ask
take,
you.
if you could take one thing from last season, going through the experience of winning the title that will help you this year, what do you think?
Playing for your brother next to you, not playing for NIL deals, not playing to go viral, not playing for TikTok, playing for the guy next to you and being able to push with him through tough situations and in the game. That'll be something that I would love to take for the guys next year. Like, don't play for NIL deals, don't play for money. Like, play for the guy next to you or play for your why, like the reason why you play football.
Do you have to go through that to sort of gain an appreciation of what that means, what that is?
I wouldn't say you would have to go through it, but someone can explain it to you. Like, the best teams that I've been a part of play for each other. The teams that I've been a part of that only lost one game have just played for each other and were out there for your teammate.
Because you guys lost so many players, nobody here is really talking about the potential of you guys repeating, maybe potentially go back to the playoffs. But how do you feel about that?
I just think that as my team or as my guys, they should take that as a personal disrespect. Like, we not good enough, and I just want them to live with that in their head every day. And I've been telling them what we did last year is last year.
Are you good enough?
We'll see.
NIL might not be the purpose behind playing, but it's certainly something y'all can access now. How do you go about managing it personally?
In person.
How do you go about managing NIL?
NIL. Oh, I'll say that don't take away from the main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is to come to college and get an education and play football to get to the next level. And you hear Coach Smart say it all the time. He said this when I was a freshman, just keeping the main thing the main thing. And I tell all the young kids that don't take away the goal from what you want, because the ultimate goal is to play in the National Football League and to make multi-millions, not, 1,000 every month or here and there, signing a couple cards.
Nolan, I'll ask an easy one. You've got a Ford Raptor